20
world.
years now.
Yeah, I was aspiring author and published a couple of books. And one of those books was I was asking people, what is the good life? So very open-ended question, allowed there, and was traveling the world. And I remember
Heard of
you had a
that?
great answer. But now, like you as having one of the best answers, I'm curious, 20 years later, in this world of AI, now that we have this amazing tool, now we have, been able to reason so much more. I'm curious if your answer has changed and what is the good life for you?
Whoa, that's amazing. I mean, I'm actually excited, right? I'm very optimistic. But then there's always that saying, right? The optimist builds the airplane, the pessimist builds the parachute.
Mm,
And I'm sure there's a lot of pessimist people who are building parachutes, but I'm just focused on building the airplane, right? What does it mean? So I've got three small kids. What does it mean for them? What does it mean for me? I'm midway through my career, right? I've easily got another 20 years. So what does it mean for me, right? And, honestly, I see being productivity being a big part of this. And I find that I have, I've got an EA, which is an AI agent, and it's reduced my workload. I've get to focus on things I love. And I'm actually, some of the more tedious work that you have to do, I'm pushing that back to AI.
mhm,
So it's actually I'm quite excited about that, and I find that even for my for the kids, I am very 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 optimistic. Because as an entrepreneur I have to be optimistic. That's part of the
mhm,
job description. So I get fired, so I have to say that. And what but on a more realistic note, what I find is that what I find is my ability to spend more time with my family. This is my second startup. And my first startup, I remember the amount of time I had to spend doing administrative work, which I just did not enjoy. And a lot of that is actually now handled by AI. So that makes I'm doing things I love. And so we are all the more coming to a world where if we build the structure properly, we are doing things we love. We can focus on things we love without having to do all of the other stuff that we had to do as a matter of fact. And in sort of I'm sort of once this gets going in a couple of years, I get to spend more time with the kids. I get to train them on things that I know that AI will potentially never be able to do. They get them to do, you know, get them involved in missions and programs and things that I know otherwise I'd just be a very busy parent and a very busy working dad. So, my ability to spend time with my kids, and I can see that light and the ability to spend quality time with them. I
mhm,
think I I think that so for me, and in this phase of life, that's my good life, right? And I
mhm,
I I see AI enabling me to do that. And so that's why I'm quite excited and optimistic. But of course, it's like fire. Yeah. Fire
mhm,
can cook your food or it can burn down your house.
mhm,
And AI and Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, he mentioned this almost 10 years ago. He said, we are playing with the next fire. It'll change our lives or it'll burn down our house. And we've got to come together and build a framework, build a scaffolding, build it properly so the fire is contained and it cooks our food, not burn down our house.
yeah. No, I love that. It's music to my ears, and even just wrap up because like we talked about the perils earlier here, and I think everybody would agree with your answer to the good life. I interviewed over 200 people and themes of family, community. I didn't. People say like, yeah, you make money, but that was never there, and so I think that resonates with people and understanding, taking time for that. The perils, what I see in the day to day, people, I've been hired as a consultant to say like, all right, what benefits do we need to do? We're a successful AI startup. I even mentioned, I was like, people would love Fridays off. People would love to have less than an 8-hour workday. None of the companies have bought that. And I mean, and I talked to the employees and they said, yeah, it's a blessing and curse being part of this very successful company, making lots of money. We're building, but we're spending so much time, we've lost what makes us truly human, having a chance to be with your family, spending time outdoors, things that create memories. And so, yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head of like, this can be a tool that we use the ultimate good, or it can be a fire that burns everything that was precious to us down.